And of course, we are here for Facebook Live and YouTube Live, Home Show Radio. I'm Tom Tynan. Charlie Mosier's running around somewhere. He's about to pop up. Ooh, he popped up. He's a pop-up.
You ask, okay. You receive, Tom.
Yes, I like it. Bring you right in. We got a lot to cover today. And I want to tell you, of course, the usual at the beginning, just to give a little promotion to what we do here at Home Show Radio and a lot of other things. I'm on the air on Sports Radio 610 in Houston, going on close to 30, the end of 34, going on for 35 years, starting next month, October. And as far as what we do is we answer home improvement questions. We help people survive home ownership. It's just what I've been doing for forever. It seems like longest job I ever had. And of course, I'm on the air 9 to 12 on Saturday and on Sunday 8 to 11. But before I come on Saturday, boom, we have Mr. Green Thumbs, and that's Danny Milliken, and all of his garden pros that help you with all the gardening. Because let's face it, the garden and the home just somehow make a nice little marriage together. And there's always inside and outside. And we got it all covered here in the Home Show team, Garden Pro team, Mosier Media team is what it really is. And here's Charlie Mosier, who leads it all as the point guard man and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm in charge of it, just like you might be in charge of a gaggle of cats.
That's true.
I just put the
but
cream
somebody's
down.
Still got to take the job.
Right. I put out the saucer of milk. Here we go. Come on. All right.
No, it's more like, hey, stop, go. Hey, wait, come on. Oh.
Yeah. Trust me, it's like a duck cats. Underneath. It's like this, Anyway, all right. But what we're doing here today, and we'd love to have you join us on the program. If you want to go ahead and put your questions down in the comment section, we'll take your question, and Tom will be able to answer you right now. We have some other questions that we have gleaned from our Ask Tom section at homeshowradio.com, and we'll answer those as well. And we will talk about some things that are in the news. That's how we get things started today. And today's Around the World and Up Your Block section of news is the vacation edition.
Yeah, I'm the only one that wasn't on a vacation. But, well, kind of.
Felt like you were on a vacation. You weren't on here.
It felt like it. No, right. Okay.
Well, and you packed it. Well, let's just say this about that.
I was hanging ceiling fans and fixing home. I was doing home improvement projects like crazy this last weekend. So I did find myself busy. Yes.
I do that with this.
Yeah, okay.
How much is that again? All right. But that's the deal with the show here, in case you're new to the show. Tom's the expert. I'm the Ed McMahon of the show. And Tom had a big week in his house this week. And I guess I'll let you talk more about the honor that was visited upon your wife and her dad.
That is my lovely wife, yes. And we did have a Sunday little soiree kind of thing. Her father, as well as many other people on this particular medal, was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal of Honor for his service in World War II. It's a very proud moment for their family. And what it comes down to is when he was 15 years old, and he was an immigrant coming through San Francisco from China, and he got here, and World War II had begun, and he joined the Navy at 15. He lied and got in because, I don't know, he just lied and got in.
Because it's the American way.
Yeah, my father got in the Marines when he was 17. What are you going to do? Anyway, he got in and he served the country before he was ever a true part of the country, which he did live the rest of his life here and passed away several years ago. He was not alive to receive this, but his daughter received it for their entire family, and I happen to be a good part of it. And I will say this, I can relate to it. I am a second-generation member of an immigrant family. My grandfather came over a little bit before her father did from Italy, and he was in World War I. That was one of the first things he did when he first got here. And he came over at 16 years old, all by himself, and just worked his way through life and did very well in his passing years in Florida. But he ended up owning Northwestern Coal Company in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Scranton. So we both relate, her and I, to our family traditions. We weren't here long ago. We're very new to this country, and we're very appreciative, and I'm very proud. My father was a soldier. He retired as Inspector General of the United States Air Force. I grew up in the military, and I still hold the honor of being a member of the Texas State Guard. So it's a big tradition within my family, but for her father, young Jin, he deserved this. And there was many other members that got this, including some of the original members of the Flying Tigers and some of the other people that fought in World War II.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations and thank you, Sandra, for your dad. And for
her dad. Young Jin was his name. Yes.
Well, and I was away, I did something far less heroic during my week off.
Charlie was shooting.
I was shooting. That's right.
Normally
shooting. I shoot my mouth off, but this time I had my Nikon out, and we were up in Brookings, Oregon, which is just a notch above California up there, and got to see just a bunch of beautiful sights up there.
It's amazing what a cell phone camera will do.
You know what? It's that
Samsung.
New iPhone. That new iPhone is pretty amazing. I'm telling you. Hang on. Where's the other one? I had another
there's
one. Here, I guess. I can't find the other one. Where is it? Hang on.
Okay,
Where is it? Or is it back here? Hold on. Oh, there. Here it is. I got it right here. There's another one.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
So there you go.
That's nice.
That's Natural Bridge in Brookings, and this is great. This is actually the second most popular beach in the state of Oregon. It's called Secret Beach. There's no pull out for it on the road. There's no sign. You have to know where it is. And it's the second most popular beach in Oregon. It tells you something about Oregon. And this was actually...
I thought this was the aftermath of the Portland riots, and Portland no longer exists.
Now,
there it is burning in the horizon.
Right, and this is called Whale's Head. This is where, and we were out there late and got the Milky Way. So that,
awesome. That's beautiful.
Self-serving as it may be, that is what's news this week in our world. And we appreciate it. So let's get to the questions. If you got some to add, feel free to join us and put them down below. But let's get to it, Tom. Here's our first question. Comes to us from Elmira, New York. Scott writes to us. He says, our house was built in the 1940s and the ground wire is thin because the original plugs were just two-prong. We installed GFCI outlets in the kitchen where they're supposed to be, but when we turned the circuit on, it popped the GFCI, the one that goes to two plugs, which we just replaced. What could the problem be?
Houses were wired a little bit sloppy back then. They didn't have the same standards we have today. Of course, they weren't wired to and sometimes you can luck out, by the way, and put one in an old home and it works. But the GFCIs are very sensitive. So if somebody crossed a neutral or tied them all together or did something like that, and you see it in the old wiring where they just tied all the white wires together, it worked, so they were good with it. And I have a feeling it's going to be in the system. That's why it's so important to get electricians to do these things when it doesn't become a very simple job. Don't try to keep doing it because it probably in the wiring system itself, and they're going to have to trace it down. It's not because the ground wire is too thin, I can tell you that, if it's wired right. So I have a feeling it's just because of the age and the way the house was wired. It was a different standard, and GFCIs are very sensitive to a point where it measures the electricity going in and then coming back because it's an alternating current. And if it's off just, I don't know, milli, whatever deal, it will just trip itself because it's being told that the other electricity is going somewhere else, and it just assumes it's going through somebody's body, yet it could be going somewhere else in the electrical system. And I think that's what it's finding. So right now, you're probably not a candidate for a GFCI until you get an electrician in to make sure that particular circuit is on one and wired directly with no interference.
Okay, fair enough. Get another one for you here. This one comes to us from Sugarland. This is Gary. He says, I've been listening to you for over 20 years. Thank you, Gary. What material would you recommend for windows? I mean, besides glass, obviously enough. I think he's talking about the frames.
Yes, glass is good for a window. Of course, it's the frames, and the frame is the most important part. It transfers the heat going in and out and in, depending really what it is. Everybody gets so obsessed with the glass, and they don't realize the frame is really what is the biggest conductor. So most glass today is all double pane, so that's why you don't have a lot of conductive problems. Vinyl has been a mainstay, but it has some drawbacks. A couple is it's not real strong, so it has to be very thick and bulky. So it gives you a very bulky window, and if you start mulling them together, you get a lot more frame than you want and a lot less window. One of the strongest materials has been aluminum. Aluminum makes a great lightweight, strong window, but if it's not built right, it has a lot of conductivity because it is aluminum, just like aluminum wire conducts electricity. But if you take the advantages of vinyl in a way and the advantage of aluminum and put it together, they now have, which is one of my favorite, new high-end aluminum replacement windows with a thermal break in between. So you have literally two windows put together that never touch each other. And it gives you the small frame, the strength, it gives you the energy efficiency just as well as the vinyl, in some cases more. It also gives you more design ideas and design capabilities of the window. So right now that's my favorite. That doesn't mean it won't get redeveloped. There's composite and there's wood, there's clad, there's a lot of other windows that are much better than the old aluminum, what they call builder grade windows, which a lot of people got stuck with.
You know, when it comes to windows, it's a lot like air conditioners, I imagine, Tom. As you've said for years, the brand is a lot less important than the company that's actually putting it in.
Well, and here's two things real quick. You have new construction windows. The framers put them in. They come with flanges. They fit right in. They're ordered as a window that goes in an opening, so you make the opening to the window. But in replacement windows, it's a lot trickier because the openings are all different, so the window has to be manufactured for the opening. And that's when you get into someone with a lot of experience. You get a good warranty with it. We, of course, in Houston, if you're watching this and need a window replacement company in Houston, Gulf Coast Windows has all those different windows we talked about, as well as glass combinations like hurricane glass, but they also have the experience of doing the window replacement because it's a lot different between new construction and retrofitting replacement windows.
Yeah, and if you're in the Houston area, and you're looking for people you can trust for just about any job on your house, go over here to our website, to homeshowradio.com, and if you'll scroll down, you'll see that we have all our Home Show Pros listed right here on the homepage, and you can find them there. And if you're not sure who, but you know what? We also have them organized by category, so that'll help you move along and get the job done around your house. Our third question today, Tom, comes from David, and he's in, I normally stick you with these on the Ask Tom videos, these impossible to pronounce names, but he's in Potawatomi Park, Indiana.
There's a few takes on that one.
I practiced that a few times before the show. Okay, yeah. He says, I bought a 1,210 square foot ranch house with no soffit vents. He says, I had ridge vents installed along with 18-inch blown-in insulation. I can remove the material on the soffits and put in directional channels, he says, over the insulation down to the soffit. My question is, should I put the styrofoam channels completely around the house? Should I replace all the solid soffit with a perforated material? I think he kind of like that hardy continuous soffit kind of material.
Perfect. A hardy would be fine. Yeah. Those inserts you're talking about, we call them baffles, and they do hold the insulation down. And I can tell you, all you need is about 3/4 of an inch. If you want to do every one and you're pulling the whole soffit down, then you could do that if you have the patience to do it. If you want to do every other one, then I can tell you can probably get away with that, no problem, and have enough opening to cover the house. It sounds like it's a simple gable design. And then, of course, the hardy perforated soffit, some people in parts of the country will still use the perforated vinyl, I understand, but the perforated soffits is by far a great way to go. Not only does it go just straight up, but in the soffit, it'll travel around, and it'll give it lots of air movement into those open areas where you put the baffles.
You stopped abruptly.
Oh, I was told at the beginning, keep it short.
I was mixing a drink. No.
Okay, fine. Well, warn me. I'm mixing a drink.
No, that's fine. And the idea of that is something that you do here too. I mean, and the idea of having to use those baffles, to push back or create channel with the insulation. At least he went the right way. He's got the 18 inches of fiberglass up there, and they'll give him an R30. Is that right? 18 inches.
That's probably a little bit over an R30. And depending in the country where you are, you're going to get more and more. And that area is where the ridge comes down onto the soffit area where the wall is. So it gets very tight. You don't want to plug it up yet. You have a lot of insulation. So it pushes the insulation down. They're just little baffles that go up there. Most of them are made out of cardboard or a plastic coated corrugated material. And they're up there, and we shove them all in when we're building new homes before the insulation goes in. And it makes it nice and clean and keeps that opening for everybody.
Fair enough. It's time for me to do a little roll call here. Everybody who I can see on my machine here.
See some?
Yeah, I do. I see one or two. I see Heather is here, and Jeremy, and Kathleen, Don, and Junior.
Well, hello.
So good to have you all here. Thank you for being
Yes.
with us. If you want to be on the roll call, you have to watch the home show page. Just don't feel slighted if you're watching, because we're also feeding this to our YouTube page and our Garden Pros pages as well. So we do that, by the way, because Danny does a show on Wednesday afternoons at about 3:30, just like this, where he answers gardening questions. And if you're not around to catch that, Danny, of course, we're talking about Danny from the Garden Pros on Saturday mornings. He joins us on the last Thursday of the month to answer questions as well. So, all right, next question comes to us from Greg over in West Chase, Tom. He says, my HVAC equipment is over 23 years old, and the outdoor condenser unit is shot and needs to be replaced. Should I also replace the evaporator coil in the attic at the same time? 23 years old.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you have the money. Now, if you were so strapped with cash that you have to do it in segments, which I don't have a problem with, then, and I've done it with mine. Mine's 23 years old. My coil in the evaporator coil is still great. I replaced the condensing unit only because I don't like financing things, so I'm paying as I go, and the coil upstairs is working fine, and the system works great now. Will it end tomorrow, and will I need a new evaporator coil? Let's put it this way. I have already talked to Rick from Absolute Comfort Air 2 years ago saying, Rick, what coil can we get? And he's already named it out and everything. So he's just waiting for a text from me. Hey, it's time for my coil. And here he comes. So, if you can, it's a good idea to replace them both. If you can't, get the condensing coil replaced. And who knows how long an evaporator coil will last, because it has no moving parts. So as long as it doesn't have a leak and it's like mine and just doesn't seem to want to break, then it does what it needs to do. There's no, I got you.
No idea what that was. Okay.
Okay. There's no moving parts. There's no bearings or fan motors or anything. So who knows how long they last, but you make the decision, in the long run. If you want to just get it done and not worry about it, it's not a bad idea.
All right. Fair enough. I got one more for you, and then we have kind of a surprise for everybody at the end of the show here today. Got a treat for you on our Before We Go thing. Cool. Premiere of a brand new home show video. Always nice to bring one of those into the world, isn't it?
I've done many. I don't know. I think I might not
this
have
one
any
here,
left in me.
Chris unfurled a brand new toy to do this next video. We did a piece of time lapse on this that you'll see a dancing sidewalk. So that's coming up in just a minute. Last question. Mario from Humble. He says, would like to improve my attached garage's insulation because it gets hot in the summer. Oh, we've had this before, right? I want to work in the garage in a mid-80s temperature instead of the 90s outside. I have placed a layer of fiberglass insulation over the garage in the attic, but the ceiling is still warm. The side of the garage that is exposed to the sun is also warm. What do you recommend, Tom?
Well, just like I had Absolute Comfort Air at my house about an hour ago, he still might be there cleaning up. The air conditioner in my garage where I work broke. I was on vacation, as Charlie said last weekend, which means I was home. I was replacing a pool pump. I was building it in my garage. My air conditioner didn't work. It was hot. It was super hot. And I said to myself, I got to get this thing fixed. The only way you can cool something is with an air conditioner. So it needs an air conditioner. Insulation does not air condition. Insulation does not cool anything. You take an ice chest, an igloo ice chest, put it out in the sun, keep it closed, open it up. It's hot in there. You have to have cooling in an ice chest. You'd have ice. So if you want to sit in ice, you can do that in your garage. But you need to cool it with an air conditioner. And here's the problem. If you insulate it in our hot climate, and I get this question every year for 30 years, why is my garage hot in August or September as it is now? Because it's hot outside. It's 100 degrees. If you insulate it when the sun goes down, which is the heater, it stays hot even longer. So now you've got all that heat in the garage and you're holding it in. So you can probably stay even hotter all night long and it'll be hotter in the morning. So don't insulate. Even in my air-conditioned garage, as I use as a shop, not a house. I know it's not energy efficient. I only turn it on when I go in. But I have no insulation at all. I don't want any insulation. I do have a radiant barrier that was sprayed on. But the air conditioner, I turn it on, I work, I'm comfortable, I turn it off, I'm out. And that's how you have to approach something for you shop goers who want that man cave shop that's cool in the summer.
Yeah, in fact, I need to call Rick because I keep putting it off, but I need to get him.
I have his number right here. I can get him on the phone.
I probably have it right here too, buddy. But
Yes.
but I need to have him come because they're going to put one of those, the split the ductless systems.
Yep.
It used to be there was this box that hung on the wall, but now they make them where they go on the ceiling. They're flat and they hang on the ceiling, and they've got ones where it goes up above the ceiling, so there's just a vent now. There's lots of different styles of those. I guess the technology just keeps advancing, and we were smart enough.
Vent-only ones are getting real popular because that's all you see is the vent and not the box. I'm getting calls on the show, and you guys can call me on the weekends when we're talking about this if you want to think about it and then percolate on it and talk this weekend. But there's a lot of options with those right now. You're right, Charlie. Nice, and sleek, and pretty looking.
I'm going to get one of these little pancakey ones that goes up on the ceiling in the office here because this is like the warmest room in the building. So,
and the boss deserves his own AC.
Damn right. All right.
Damn right. Hey, I'm good with it.
All right.
I deserve one in my garage.
Here's the deal. We're on short final here to wrap this thing up. So let me tell you, if you have a question and you want to get to it to us, we'd love to hear from you. All you got to do is go to homeshowradio.com, click on that blue Ask Tom button right there. In there, it'll take you to this page here, and then you can either use the form or you can send us a video. Either way, but it'll take you a form like this, fill it out, send us the details, and then Tom can answer the questions. We answer them every day. If you're looking for a Home Show Pro you can trust, go over to our website as well and scroll down, and there they are. All our Home Show Pros are on display for you. And if you don't know who, but you know what? Guess what? You're in luck. We got that organized for you, too. I've only said that once or twice in the time we've been doing this. But that's what we do because we're here to help you. And, of course, Tom is here to help you all weekend, too.
I am. Every Saturday, 9 to noon. And, of course, Sunday, 8 to 11 on Sports Radio 610. Or you can listen to me at homeshowradio.com. None of these things we talk about cost you a penny. It's all free to you, including radio, videos, on and on, all the referrals. You don't have to pay anything. Danny, of course, comes on 7 to 9 on Saturday morning before me. Does a great job, and it's the same thing, all free. Has a great website. He's got referrals for nurseries and things. So it's full service. We can help you in the Houston area, that's for sure.
Before we go, we got one more thing for you. We have a brand new home show feature video we want to share with you about Concrete Raising Corporation and how they solved the teacup problem.
If you got what Tom likes to say, cattywampus sidewalks.
Cattywampus sidewalks in the Gulf Coast area, it's something we're all used to.
Oak tree will take out about up to 300 gallons of water a day. You combine that with expansive soils and you get settlement like we had here.
Concrete can be lifted with polyurethane foam or a process that uses cementitious slurry called mudjacking.
We're going to be pumping in cementitious slurry, topsoil, sand, and Portland cement that we screen and process in our yard.
We'll explain later why the slurry mix is the right choice for this sidewalk job. First, here's how it all comes together.
Portland cement in this hopper falls down onto the dirt mixture, comes down the belt as it conveys out into the bottom of the auger here. This bar here is where the water is injected into the auger. It mixes in the auger, out the end of the auger, so you got a consistent mix.
The result?
We mix it to the consistency of about a thick pancake batter.
The crew has about 30 minutes to pump the slurry before it hardens. What looks like muddy cement is a precise mixture.
You have different things going on different jobs, so we can adjust the mix accordingly. Sometimes we want a high PSI, sometimes we want a lower PSI.
Each one of these sidewalk sections weighs about 1,000 pounds. The finesse it takes to get each one back in place makes polyurethane foam the wrong choice for this job.
With foam, when you inject it, it's set. It's better to do a small piece of concrete in slurry because you have more control of it, you can move it better.
I don't know what you call the opposite of cattywampus, but I know what it looks like. It looks like this. Knowing how to raise concrete and which method is best for each job is what makes Concrete Raising Corporation a certified Home Show Pro. For homeshowradio.com, I'm Tom Tynan.
It's true, every word of it. That is.
I like
Tom
that.
Tynan.
That was cool.
Yeah, I like the way that thing kind of moved around. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
huh?
I liked it. It was very good. Yeah.
All right. There's lots more videos just like that at homeshowradio.com. And, of course, on our YouTube channel. We put up on our Facebook page, too. You can find us all over the place. One more thing before we go. I hope you will take time this Saturday to pause and remember 20 years ago. And keep all those first responders and those we lost in your thoughts and prayers this weekend, as well as our great land. Tom, we'll see you on the radio on Saturday.
You will. Thanks.
Got a question? Ask Tom on Home Show Radio. Home Show Radio. Free advice from a pro who knows. Home Show Radio. Home Show